Hello everyone. I'm here to show you how I would write the Scarlet Letter essay that I've assigned to you guys. This first video is going to be about the pre-writing process, which we've already largely done in class, but I know that you guys, a lot of you still have some thinking to do about where you're going with your topic and what you want to say in your essay, so I want to just go ahead and walk through these few steps quickly. I'm working with the running essay prompt, why is your chosen theme a vital element of Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter? How does your theme shape the development of the text? How did the tone, allusion, symbolism, and other literary devices affect the interpretation of your theme? By the time you guys get to writing your essay, I may have a more developed essay prompt, but that's what we're working with for now. For my theme, I chose penance versus penitence, which we've talked about quite a bit in class, and I didn't want to steal anyone else's theme from class. You can see here at the very beginning I started to write a thesis and then decided that I really don't have enough information to decide what my thesis is, so I'm going to brainstorm a little more. When I'm thinking about penance versus penitence, I'm juxtaposing Hester Prynne and Reverend Arthur Dimmesdale. I went ahead and thought through in my head which scenes from the book really support what I'm thinking about. You can see here that I've just made a bullet point list. And I had chapter titles specifically because I'm really familiar with the book, but when you guys are doing this, you'll have to look closely. I did not require you all to brainstorm before writing your essays. Instead, I had you write quote paragraphs along the way. Doing so required you to think about the way the theme was developing and to gather evidence as you went. The reason I had the exact chapters is because I took notes as I read, which is exactly why we're journaling as we read. Because I own the book, I wrote my notes in the margin of my book instead of on a separate notebook. Regardless, I kept up with themes I was noticing as I went. Identifying a theme is not something you do at the end of a book. It's an ongoing process as you read, picking up clues and informing ideas as you go, which is exactly what we were trying to do with the journal. After I brainstormed some of the main scenes I wanted to look at, I began to gather my evidence, so I collected quotes. As you can see, what I basically did in this evidence section was I wrote my quote paragraphs, just like you guys did. I gave a little contextual summary, so you can see in my first bullet point. As the narrator explains why Hester would stay in this Puritan settlement, he tells us that she compelled herself to believe half a truth and half a self-delusion, and the quote goes on. When it ends, you can see I've got my works cited, and because this is a block paragraph or a block quote, I've put the period before the quotation marks and before the works cited. I will probably try to shorten that quote for my actual essay, but I wanted to have it in full so that I remember what's exactly going on here. And then I provide for myself a little bit of commentary that Hester convinces herself that she wants to stay to make up for the sin she committed, so she's staying for penance. You can see here, this brainstorming section is essentially the same as your commentary section of your journal entries. You should have been looking for clues to your theme as you read, and just writing a sentence or two to remind yourself how the quotation matched your theme. So what I have here is really more summary than commentary, and as I get into writing the actual essay, I'm going to have to think more about analysis. These here are some great examples of how to introduce a quote with the proper context and summary, and then also how to embed the quote. So in my first example here, I said, he tells us that, and then made the quote a part of the sentence. And you can see I edited out pieces to make it fit with my sentence without changing the meaning of the sentence. Here, I said the narrator explained, and that way we know who is speaking in the quote itself. In the next one, again, I embedded the quote saying, yet we see at the end of the book, she, Hester, is still ostracized by the townspeople, and when she was so soon to fling aside the burning letter, it had strangely become the center of more remark and excitement, and was thus made to sear her breast more painfully than at any time since the first day she put it on. As far as embedding goes, it works to make the quotation part of your sentence. Start by paraphrasing the context and end by quoting the book. Here I remembered an allusion, but I would have to do some more research in order to incorporate it in my essay, so I'm going to forget about that. Finally, this commentary again is really just summary of the quotation. I'm not exactly sure what I want to say in my analysis yet, but as a quote paragraph, this is incomplete because it does not analyze.